Ooh, they cooking us now. Banks are making record profits for 2024. Goldman Sachs, Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, American Express, several others. Monster earnings for 2024. And JP Morgan Chase in particular, I believe, broke a record for all banks on single year's gross profits. So they did a real big one for 2024. All in the midst. Credit card consumer debt reaching over $1 trillion. Commercial real estate is going up in flames still with that debt crisis. Auto loan delinquencies, credit card delinquencies, all of that's going through the roof in 2024. And banks are making a killing. I'm trying to tell you, as I've been trying to tell you, I put out multiple videos through the life of this channel, and I put out just a few videos at the time of this recording just since 2025, explaining that the overall debt crisis and debt as a natural phenomenon in our economy is not going anywhere. In the midst of us cooking alive under the debt crisis, and this is not any intent to make banks out to be evil empires or not, I'm not getting into all of that. It's a distraction, in my personal opinion, to get into the narratives of good and evil on that. But I will tell you that the way our economy functions, the way the financial system functions, banks are making a killing at the same time we're getting roasted. Like boiling a frog slowly. At the end of the day, these financial institutions and all these other businesses that are tied around this money that is floating around, that is essential to our economy. The government is actually the biggest spender in our economy, believe it or not. And they are using debt to the tune of tens of trillions of dollars over the course of a year or two's time, or a couple to a few years' time. That is essential to our economy. And so those of you who are Dave Ramseyites and all these other, entities that have cropped up that are making full-time careers, selling y'all on paying off your debt and being debt free and all of this other shit that they're selling y'all, I'm telling you, the financial system is too well rewarded, and the overall economy is literally rewarded for debt to flow into the system. From the Federal Reserve, big banks, the government, y'all can sit like y'all stupid if y'all want to and keep biting into this bait because it sounds sexy. It sounds so ethical and so moral. Just, I'm going to pay all of my debt off and I'm going to be debt free. And listen, I'm not telling you not to do that. I'm not telling you that that's a bad thing. What I am telling you is that the real source of the problem is understanding how to use the tool, not trying to avoid it. Vast majority, 80 plus, 90 plus % of us actually functioning in this economy are going to touch debt at some point. As I stated in a previous video, you can do it voluntarily or involuntarily. Either way it goes, you will be forced to navigate debt at some point in time. Become skilled at it. The financial system is only becoming more effective at creating more debt tools. Buy now, pay later, going through the roof and becoming more accessible. As technology expands, as financial tech expands, all they're going to do is find more effective ways to get money into your hands. The lending system is changing. How is it changing? By making capital available to more people who normally couldn't qualify for it. Financial technology companies, fintechs, many of them are coming onto the marketplace because there's millions to tens of millions of Americans and undocumented Americans at this point, or not Americans, but people in this country that are part of the financial system that can't access credit in the traditional sense. Brick and mortar banks cannot change their business model enough to pivot around gathering all of that new market share. So they're branching out and investing into fintechs and startups to get access to that demographic. That is the name of the game. To get debt in as many people's hands as possible, whether they use it for good, bad, or indifferent, it's going to benefit the financial system, generally speaking. Now, at some point, this party may come to an end. But when that's going to be, and if you're willing to bet your entire financial future on when that's going to be, or the system's going to collapse tomorrow, or the debt crisis and bubble is going to collapse, or the currency is going to collapse tomorrow, and what's going to replace it? Don't worry, I'll wait. What's going to replace it? The economic system, the US dollar, all of that stuff is going to continue to float because there's nothing to replace it at the moment. You can hide and run behind this crypto craze all you want to, But I'm telling you right now, you don't understand the depth of the infrastructure of the reserve currency status of the debt system that we're in. That stuff is so entrenched. If you think that we're going to wake up in the next year, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, and all of a sudden all of that's going to be on his head and unplugged and pulled out of the wall, you're out your mind. And you're betting against something that's going to end up sinking you if you're investing or functioning financially around that narrative. I just wanted to bring it to y'all attention. Banks are doing phenomenal in the same year that unemployment is creeping up, consumer debt is going through the roof, delinquencies are going through the roof, commercial real estate is struggling, the housing market is down well beyond its normal transactional limits as far as residential real estate. The list goes on of economic factors that are struggling like hell in 2024. And banks are doing, at least the major ones that are really sturdy, are doing phenomenal. Small banks are struggling. Small community banks are getting gobbled up, and et cetera, et cetera. These other banks are starting to collapse. We saw that at the beginning of 2024. That went under the radar all of a sudden. But at the end of the day, everybody's not doing well in the financial sector. But a lot of these big juggernaut, too big to fail banks, they're cleaning up right now. They're eating good. And I'm telling you right now, if you want to continue to advance, unless you're part of that really niche percentage of people who has great enough income, great discipline, and a great lifestyle in a way where you're able to be frugal or be a minimalist, or you got enough income where you can live a comfortable lifestyle and never have to touch debt and can pay cash for everything. There's some people out there who can do it. Shout out to y'all. The vast majority of you will never be there. And that's okay. Learn how to swim. Don't try to avoid the water, as I continue to say. If you don't want to drown, don't try to live in a fantasy world where you're going to avoid water the rest of your life. Just learn how to swim. Learn how to navigate debt. I have hundreds of videos on this channel teaching you how to not only navigate budgeting, banking system, but learning how to effectively navigate debt, from basic consumer credit cards to business credit cards to business lending to home lending, all the way up the gambit. I am teaching that on this channel for free. I am telling you how to navigate it. I am somebody who's navigated a significant amount of debt on my own time. I help consumers and small businesses access capital for years now, to the tunes of millions of dollars collectively over time. Hundreds of applications. I know underwriting really well. I understand all of these different things, and I bring it to you on this channel. You can live under a rock if you want to. You can live in delusion if you want to. But I am telling you for a fact, the financial system is salivating. They're literally pissed right now because they can't get interest rates on stuff to come down. Interest rates are being lowered while debt interest rates, meaning mortgage rates and things of that nature, are going up due to the bond market and what's going on with that. They have to make bond prices, that yield has to go up to make, to attract investors. There's a connection between that. I don't want to get into the weeds, but there's a connection between the fact that the Fed rate is coming down, but mortgage rates and stuff of similar nature is going up. That's a great delta for banks. It's a great delta for banks because what they have to pay on deposits is coming down, but what they have to earn or what they get to earn on the debt that they put out is going up or staying steady. So there's a delta. You think banks did their thing and they big one in 2024. Just wait till next year if this trend continues, where the Fed fund rates keeps coming down or stays low, and mortgage rates and some of these other debt rates stay up there or don't come down. I'm telling you right now, as the Fed's fund rate chips away at a quarter point, half a point, but these mortgage rates are staying flat or even increasing like they've been doing. Hell, mortgage rates are higher now than they were 6 months ago before the Fed started cutting rates. Banks are making a killing. These big, strong institutions that have the ability to weather the storm, gobbling up market share. They're taking over the clientele base and the books and demographic that these other banks are no longer able to service, so on and so forth, as well as the existing books of business and assets that they have. There's a greater spread there. Banks make money in a few different ways. They make money off fees, of course. They make money off lending, the delta between what they have to pay on deposits and what they have to pay out, what they get earned back on the loans that they put out. And they get paid on investment management fees and trading fees when money is traded in the stock market and in various other derivative products and securities. So these are the three major ways these bigger banks are making money. And that stuff is going relatively fine right now. It's going fine, especially the debt portion. And I'm going to cover another video shortly talking about how they're going to be making more money on the investment side of things. I'm going to be covering that shortly. Banks are, they already breaking records in 2024 while the rest of us are cooking. 2025 is shaping up to be a very interesting year. So comment down below. Let me know what your perspective is about how this is playing out. Banks are doing phenomenal at a time where its consumer base largely is struggling like hell. What does that tell you about our financial system? How does that affect how you're moving with your money? Comment down below. To all my pioneers, welcome back. To my new viewers, welcome in. As always, I want each and every one of you to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon.